Good morning and welcome to another beginning drawing class. Today we're going to begin with, I just a few days ago got some new colored pencils. Now the Prismacolor pencils that I've had for years and years are so nice, and I really love this brand, but we discovered some new ones that they're called Premier. They're Prismacolor Premier, and they're soft core. And this soft core blends so nicely that I am really impressed. And so, as we begin, we've been using material from other people's books and from cartoons in the newspaper, and I decided that I'm going to use my own book. I created a series of children's books a few years ago, and it's called Read a Picture Puzzle Book. And since they're all visual images, it's perfect for what we're doing. So as we begin here, I'm going to start over here. And because these are children's books, the drawings are, I kept them pretty simple because it's for children. And so it was the idea, my original idea was children, before they learn how to read, they know what things are. And so they can look at the image and create. So, now one of the things about a baseball, if you've ever looked at one closely, as we all have, but you don't think about it, is that the threads that keep it together are a little offset. So just one area to think about when we begin here. So I had so much fun creating these books. I tried self-publishing with hard copies, and because I wanted a real quality product, I went nuts with something that would last and that kids could have passed down to from generation to generation. And anyway, I didn't do very good. I used to take them to Christmas fairs and things like that, and I sold some, but nothing like what I'd like to do. But anyway, in the process, I have since had a website created, and now the books are ebooks online. And there are 4 volumes, and all 4 volumes can be purchased online for as little as $6. So if anybody's interested, it would be nice. So while I think about it, here's the website. It's Johnny's Books, but the spelling of Johnny is different. It's J-H-A-N-I-E-S, Books. So not only do I have the 4 books that I created for children, but I also have a book that I wrote for teenagers called Grandfather Says What? And that's about things I wish I knew when I was a teenager and things I tried to share in the story for teenagers, things that I wish I knew that I think they would like to know. So that was my first attempt at writing anything. But whether it's good or bad, anybody likes it or not, one thing I can say, I did it. I did it, so. So as you look at both images now, you can see that on the left you have a baseball, and on the right you have a bat. So, what do we have? A baseball bat. So anyway, so that's the idea of the book, was visual images that you create to create words and phrases. So this is, the ones that we're going to be doing today are from volume 1. Okay? So we have 4 volumes. There's 20 puzzles in each volume, so 80 altogether. So for a few cents per puzzle, a lot of enjoyment. And the other thing is, originally, like I say, I created this book for children before they learn how to read, but I showed it to a friend of mine who had, I didn't know, had been in an automobile accident, and she saw the books and she said, you know, I'm going through therapy right now, because she had some head injuries, and she said this is the kind of sequencing that the therapist is putting me through. So what started off as a book for children ends up being something that people who've been in an automobile accident or had a stroke or a heart attack, sequencing is something that it can be used for in addition. And then I taught conversational English in Japan for 7 years, and so also for ESL students, it's similar to a picture dictionary, which is a very useful tool for ESL students. So it has multiple purposes. Anyway, so there's the first one. It's baseball bat. Okay, so then the next one here, let's see, okay. So again, the challenge is in part, well, there are a number of challenges, but one of the most difficult ones is because I always recommend drawing light, and I always draw light to begin with. That's easier to erase when you don't have things the way you want, and so unfortunately with what we're doing here, we can't really see that kind of stuff, so we're just having to do the best that we can. Fortunately, we actually are able to do something like this thanks to Kate. So okie doke. So again, erase the and this ink pen that I've had for umpteen years that still works. It is mind-boggling that it's done so well for so long. So in this set, I couldn't believe it. We sent away for on Amazon, and I got the biggest set that they had, which was 36, but it comes in 72 as well. But so I got the 36 pencil set, and it was $30, and I was very happy to pay that, because you know, colored pencils, especially a premier set like this, I mean a high quality set like this, you know, if you were to buy them individually, it'd be $2 to $3 each. And so I was able to get 36 of them for $30. Well, when we went to Michael's, which is a place I go to from time to time for various things, that same set, and I knew it was going to be a little bit more. You know, I can understand a little bit more. You've got a brick and mortar business, you know, rent to pay and all of that. That same set with tax was $60. $60 is double. But anyway, like I say, the Prismacolors, I've just been using them for years. I'm sure this set that I have been using from the previous lessons, at least 20 years. So this set was absolutely wonderful for $30. Anyway, so this one is fingernail, right? So, okay. So on the back, we have 2 more puzzles. Okay. And again, the reason that I use the black ink is because it shows up. So hopefully everybody can see, what we're doing here. So again, we're just doing the best that we can to create something here for you. I had so much fun creating, just coming up with the ideas. Years ago, when I first got the idea, I went to a workshop for people who were writing books. Well, I wasn't writing a book, I was doing this, creating visual images to create words and phrases. Read a picture puzzle book, right? So all the people who were in the class were retired school teachers. Well, I wasn't a retired school teacher, but I had 7 years teaching experience. And they were all writing books. And so I was kind of, not unusual, but the odd man out. And in the beginning, people were looking at me like, well, we're writing a book, And by the time we got to the end of the class, people were saying, hey, did you think of this one? Hey, what about this? Which is what happens. You get going, and it stimulates new ideas. So you've got one, and pretty soon you got another one, and then and that's what happened with me when I started off with one volume, right? That's 20 puzzles. Well, by the time I got done, I had 4 volumes or 80 puzzles. So it's a lot of fun. Well, as an artist, there's so many art forms, right? I'm also doing a video every other week for beginning keyboard. So just another area. I taught a sewing class here at the Senior Center when we were open a while back. And I could teach a basic jewelry class, there's so many ways to create, and for me, that's one of the enjoyable parts of being an artist. Is it's the creative thing, the creative aspect, that you come up with your own stuff. I make a lot of my own clothes. I'm not wearing anything now except an undergarment, but I make my hats, of course. That's something you see on the video. I make those. I've been making those for years. I went to Bates Technical College after I graduated from Evergreen State in Olympia. Graduated from there and went to Bates Technical College in their apparel construction pattern making technology program. Learned how to make my own patterns from scratch. So everything that I've made, I've never used a commercial pattern. I only use my own. And again, just to be able to do stuff like that it's very satisfying. Okay, let's see if that is where that is. There we go. So it's a little bit, yeah, I think this one's better. Well, I'm using this new set, and so it's like, well, they're a little bit, some of the colors are basically the same as the other Prismacolor set that I've been using for years. And as you well know, there are certain colors that you use more than others, and so those are the ones that run out first. And so they're like the yellow that we just used there. That's I have a real stubby one in my other set that I've used so often. But you know, your basic colors, you do that. And so it's nice to start off with a fresh set where everything is, you got plenty of color, no matter what color, because you've got enough in a 36 pencil set. You have enough colors basically to do pretty much what you want. And then if you don't, you can create some new colors by blending. We haven't done a lot of that because, well, it hasn't been necessary for one thing, but here's where experimentation comes in. You can just take, excuse me, some colors and blend them together, see what happens. Okay, so what do we have? Starfish. Another one. Okay, so now as we go to our next puzzle, so I would like to encourage you to create. We all have the ability to create, and it doesn't matter how good you are, or it's about not being afraid to try. That's as important as anything. Not being afraid to fail or to not do something as good as you wanted it to be in the beginning. And so anyone can create. Unfortunately, the way we're programmed growing up, you know, you've got to be born with it, or nah, don't believe it. Anybody can create. You just have to have the willingness and the desire to create something. Okay, so our next project here is so I guess in the end what I'm trying to say is don't be afraid to try. And in most situations you'll find that you'll even surprise yourself. You'll do better than you thought you could. And that's a wonderful surprise. Okay, so then Kate made some copies, actually took some pictures from her phone so that you'll have colored pictures of the ones that hopefully we'll be able to get to. Unfortunately, this lesson might not be as long because there's going to be a Zoom meeting at 10 o'clock. So I think. So we're going to use this silver again. Anyway, going back to observation, when you look at the pictures from my books, observe what you see. Begin with your simple shapes, drawing lightly, and then see the relationships between one thing and another. And you do that each time, it'll get easier to remember. And if you, again, start off with simple shapes, it makes it a lot easier to begin. And I'm going to just lightly blend in the rain, right? And then let's see. Yeah. Boy, these soft cores was really a good idea that they came up with, because it just works so nicely. So as you begin to see, it's pretty obvious that the answer to this particular puzzle is rainbow. Yep. So hopefully if you have some grandkids out there, or you know some children in the neighborhood that like games, this is pretty fun game actually, as it turns out. Yeah, we got some construction going on in the area, so that was one of the trucks, I think. So make it, blend it as much as you need to get the depth of color that you want. Okay, so let me just get this last little bit here. And I think I'm going to leave it here because I don't want to be in the way. So, starfish and rainbow. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. Until next time, I want to thank you for joining me, and happy drawing.